Welcome back to this channel, guys. Yet another week has passed and the 714 method was very good to us, right? I mean, it was good on most of the days, but some days it wasn't that really good at all. So we are just here to remind ourselves on how to enter into those trades and what we did wrong and how we can actually do what improve on what we did, so that we will now be able to enter into better trades and avoid losing trades using the 714 method, right? So that's just by the way. Let's dive in. So on Monday, as you can see, we're in a very nice uptrend, and when we're in an uptrend, we are looking forward to seeing a super nice downtrend after that, right? So that was pretty much simple and pretty much easy. So where should you have entered? Now, if you look at this level right here, that was a very nice level, right? Because it got tested once, it got tested twice, right? It tested here, tested there, with a lot of liquidity. So that was where I actually put my entry. But as you know, I use a fair value gap indicator, right? And every tiny fair value gap is going to be indicated on that indicator. It's a free indicator. You can get it in when you are using TradingView. You can get it as a free indicator, right? So as you can see on my indicator, I saw this nice fair value gap right here. So I was actually wondering, will price stop here and go down, or will price reach this fair value gap right here? So this fair value gap right here, it actually got me confused because I actually like entering into trades around fair value gap, right? But this was also a good rejection. So around this level was my main entry. This was where I was targeting. I wasn't looking at entering into trade around this level actually. So here was my first entry, but because there was fair value gap at that top there, so here was my first entry right here. But because of this fair value gap, I actually got into a smaller trade there, but I wasn't that much interested in it because I never thought price would actually reach there. So that was my second entry right there, and my stop loss was kind of like this. So this was my setup on Monday. So my stop loss was actually on this last buy right here. So I actually kept my stop loss below this last buy right there. So this was my setup on Monday. That could have been your setup too on Monday. So this right here was my setup, right? So this was my entry. This was my setup on on Monday. A pretty nice setup. Now I wasn't really interested in this, but I really like fair value gaps, and I know for sure that price could actually take out this high just to respect this fair value gap before we drop, right? So that was why I actually kept a trade just at the tip of the fair value gap right there. So my first TP was actually this trade because it was this trade that I actually like. So the TP was around somewhere here, and this second trade I actually just kept the TP right here because I did not actually think it was going to be that good trade, right? So that was the trade that I took. This was the trade that I took on Monday. So let's see what actually happened. So as you can see, price did come out and pick my trade around this level right here. With this candle right here, it actually took my trade. And look at this. Now this was where I was kind of willing to get out of the trade because price actually came all the way up to this level and it pushed even out, right? But I was just waiting to see how the 5-minute candle will react. It later on respected the fair value gap. Then I was like, okay, the fair value gap is respected, so there's no need for me to get out of the trades. So price picked that trade too as well. Then we came all the way down, right? So let me pull this actually. So as you can see, just within some couple of minutes, my first TP got hit and that trade was actually out. Now just waiting for the second TP to get hit as well. And the second TP really got hit around this level. Now there was a lot of liquidity around this level right here. If you look at it, there was a lot of liquidity around this level right here. So initially when price comes into it, you realize that price will actually push all the way up. We actually got a trade around this level after some break of structure, a change of character around this. Was it around this level right here? We actually got a trade, but it wasn't a good trade. It just reversed all the way back. It was a small trade actually. It wasn't that big loss, right? But yeah, this was my entry, and this was the execution on what Monday. So let's go to Tuesday and see what actually happened, right? So on Tuesday, we're in a very nice uptrend, right? We're in a very nice uptrend. So we're looking to be in a very nice downtrend after that. It was a pretty simple, very nice trade, right? So initially, you find your levels. So this was my level right here. I just wanted price to push into this level right here, this other block right here. Then I'll get into the trade, right? So that was actually my setup, but price did not do that because immediately after this trend, you can see that this trend was just suffering to go up, right? But immediately after this candle, price just started a little consolidation and it dropped. So as you can see, it dropped all the way down. So I was like, okay, there's this fair value gap right here. Then probably that's what price is actually coming to. This was a fair value gap right here, a very nice fair value gap. Price actually came down and tested it. So I was like, that was what price was actually coming to, right? Then price did not actually do that. It went straight out of that fair value gap. It actually tested it a little while before it went out. So I changed my entry. My entry was now like, okay, with this trend right here, if price actually cross just a little bit down this level right here, that's when I'll be entering into the sell, right? So if price just cross down this level right here, then I'll enter into a sell right here, then we'll go down, right? That's why I say sometimes you just have to be patient because price wouldn't actually do what you want. It does, it has its own thing, right? So you just have to wait for price to give you the chance to enter into the trade. So this right here was my second entry. Initially I wanted price to reach here and I'll sell, but if price had actually gone through this, I would have sold, right? Very nice. But as you can see, price did not do that. We just had this nice week and I was happy because I thought we were going to do what, go through it, but no, price gave us this very good what, bullish candle. So after price gave me this very nice bullish candle, I was like, okay, then I'll have to use the reverse 714 method. That means the bulls still have enough energy in them, right? And when the bulls still have enough energy in them, you don't want to be selling at that moment because this right here was a very nice yet really serious buy, right? So I got into the trade at this level. On top of this right here, I got into the trade. I actually put my trade right here. If there was any pullback to it, it should pick my trade just on top of that support right there. So this support right here, I kept my trade on top of it. If price pull back into it, it should pick my trade, then we'll go all the way up, right? So that was actually my entry. So this was my setup. Now my TP was actually around this level right here. So this right here was my TP. So this right here was my first TP and I doubled it, and this right here was my second TP, right? So that was my second TP. Now this was my entry on what, Tuesday, because the buyers were still there. Now advancing into the day, we'll probably get a nice sell, but it wouldn't happen around this time, and to sit down and wait is just going to be a waste of time, right? Just follow the trend. When it gives you the sell, then you now do it, right? It's a very simple thing. Don't wait, don't detect or don't try your best to do what, uh, find reversals. Let price do what, reverse for you, then you join the trade and go all the way down. It's a very nice simple trade. So this was what I did, and price actually came into it, picked my trade with this candle right here. Then we went all the way up to my what, my first TP. Now we did not hit my second TP, alright, but at that moment it was already at this level at break even, right? We did not hit my second TP. After this reversal, I was just waiting for price to go through this level right here. Then I'll know that, okay, then that means the 714 method is right now, is now going to kick in, right? So this was right here. If you were not in a trade at the moment, you could have entered into your trade if this place right here was taken, right? So price actually came, took it, and we went all the way down, right? I wasn't in a trade at that moment again, but you could have gotten into a trade at this level, then go all the way down. This second trade actually got taken out on break even because I actually thought we were going to hit this level, then pull all the way up again. But you could have gotten into the trade at this level right here using the 714 method, then you now go down. But initially I was already in this and I was good with the trade, right? So that was it on Tuesday. As you can see, price actually came all the way down to this level right here. So you could have gotten the 714 method around this level all the way down if you were still going to wait for it to hit here or this high right here. Either way, you would have gotten a trade, right? Or if you are going to use a what, the reversal method, right, you still would have gotten a trade. But Tuesday was actually very hard. And was it Wednesday or Thursday? That was very hard to. It seems it was on Wednesday or Thursday. I don't actually know. It seems it was on Thursday, right? But let's look at Wednesday and see what actually happened. So on Wednesday, as you already know, we're in a very nice what, downtrend, right? A pretty nice downtrend. Now I already said this and I'll repeat it again. Whenever the trend is not favoring the 714 method, right? If the trend right here is not favoring the what, this method right here, what do? You go according to the trend, right? That means you reverse the method. Now initially, if we are in a what, if we are in a downtrend, right, if we are in a very nice downtrend during this trend, we are supposed to go, or we are supposed to be in an uptrend after it, right? But I've told you, if the trend is so powerful that it's not respecting this method right here, don't go according to the method, go according to the trend. Because even though the method will actually work, but it's not going to work that much, it's just going to be a little bit of just a normal pullback, right? It's just going to be a small pullback, then will drop all the way down. So I've told you guys this. Yeah, I was actually in this trade, right? A very nice trade. It was a very simple trade. I didn't get in around this level. I wasn't in trade around this level, but I wished I was in a trade around this level because I wouldn't have gotten out and it really dropped, right? So it was a very simple yet very powerful trade. So let's see how you could have gotten into this trade. Now, if you go to the 15-minute time frame, you realize that this right here was just a pullback to a fair value gap. There was a fair value gap right here, so you could have kept your first trade around that level. You could have entered into a trade on this fair value gap right here if price actually pulled into it, because that was a very simple entry. Or you just wait for price to break this structure right here, then you get into the trade. Pretty simple, right? Very simple trade. So this was what will actually happened on Wednesday, right? So if you are going to be in a trade on Wednesday, your first entry should have been here at the tip of this fair value gap with your stop loss at the top here, or you just wait for price to break through this level right here, then you get into the trade, right? So let's see what actually happened. But price actually gave another entry. So let's see. As you can see, your trade would have been taken, a pretty nice trade. It would have been closed though, but it would have been taken, right? Now this level right here was also a fair value gap, a very big one, right? It was a very big fair value gap. You could have used that as your entry as well. As you can see, price went all the way down after that fair value gap. Now you could have used that second fair value gap as your entry, or you could have also entered here, but your stop loss would have been here. So you had three chances to get into trade on Wednesday, right? You had three chances because this right here was the first chance. This fair value gap right here was the second chance for you to enter into your trade. And around this level, this break of structure right here was your third chance for you to enter into the trade, right? It was a very simple trade. You shouldn't have entered into a buy. So you would have entered here first. You should have entered here second. You should have entered here third. Three good chances for you to enter into the trade and move down. That's what I've always told you. Even if the price is not if the trend is not favoring the 714 method, price will actually give you a nice way to enter into the trade again. It will give you a chance because you are sellers and price wants more liquidity, so it will pull a little bit, up, right? Then pull in more sellers before it will go down. Now you could have been part of these sellers, you could have been part of those sellers, and you could have also been part of these sellers right here, right? So the easiest setup you could have gotten on Thursday should have been this right here, because the first one would have been tricky if you weren't looking at the 15-minute time frame. Now this should have been your setup, right? This should have been the easiest way for you to get into a trade, because this fair value gap was actually on the 5-minute time frame. This was on the 15-minute time frame, and a lot of people wouldn't have seen it, right? You would have gotten into the trade at this level, a very, very nice trade, or you would have used this break of structure right here to get into the trade, right? But price actually pulled back to this level right here. So let's see what actually happened. Now, as you can see, price pull all the way back, pick your trade around this level right here, picked this persons to trade. Now, if you weren't sure about the entry again, this right here was another what, let me just pull this aside so that you see it well. So this right here was another break of structure. You still could have gotten into the trade there. It's not compulsory for you to get into trades at this level or this level. Just you can use the break of structure and you still get a very nice trade, right? So you still could have gotten into the trade at this level right here. Now I wasn't having a take profit because the trend was very, very nice, so I wasn't having a take profits, but we actually went down, right? We went all the way down. It was a very, very nice trade. So as you can see, we came all the way down, right? But after this right here, there was this change of character right here. So if you know me, you realize that change of characters, I don't actually like it a lot, right? So I actually got out at this change of character right here. I got out of the trade, but you still could have been in the trade for a very long time. I don't know, it seems I got into the trade around this level right here or right here. I don't actually know, but I got into the trade around somewhere within this level right here, right? So it was a very nice trade. So you could have been in that trade. So let's see what happened on what Thursday, right? Now on Thursday, I don't even have to talk that much, right? We're in a what, an equal trend, as you can see. An equal trend is a trend that's what both sellers and both buyers are equal. So actually this one was actually just like a consolidation, but still we're in an equal trend, a very nice equal trend, right? So what do? You guys already know that's the most simplest trade you could get using the 714 method, right? These equal trends are the most simplest trade you can get. So you just mark your levels, right? You mark your high, you mark your low. Simple. If price breaks through this, you are buying. If price breaks through this, you are selling. Simple as that. Because if price breaks through this, that means the buyers are taking control, right? If price breaks through this, the sellers are taking control. So that's how simple what Thursday was. A very nice trade. That one you shouldn't have even stressed yourself, right? So you could have gotten into the trade on this candle right here. So I actually got into the trade on this candle right here. We are still in the 714. Just the candle that will close the 714 method was the candle that I got into the trade, because I realized that the buyers were actually coming in huge, and I actually got into two trades, right? This trade right here and a trade on GBP USD, right? So that was it, or was it GBP card? I can't actually remember. So that was it right there. But I've made a video about this. You can see that almost all the major pairs were very good on this day. It was very, very nice, a very serious trade. So you could have gotten into your buy at this level, then you are ready to go. So you could have gotten your buy at this level right here, a very nice simple trade, and you could have targeted probably this place as your first TP, or you use this right here as your first TP, then this right here as your second TP, because there was this fair value gap right here. It could have hit you down, right? So let's see, your first TP should have been here or at this level right here, and your second TP should have been at this level or at this level right there. So it was just going to be a very simple trade, with your trade being here, right? So this should have been your trade, your first TP right here. If you had entered into two trades, So let's see, where should have your second TP been? Now your second TP should have been around somewhere here, right? So that's just it. Your setup should have looked like something like this. So with your stop loss being down here, your entry at this level, your first TP here. So when you double this, you get your second TP around somewhere here. So your second TP could have been around somewhere here, this level right here. So that's just it. Now, this was the simplest trade you could actually get, right? This was just the simplest trade you could actually get because price just moved very, very simple. There wasn't any waste of time. So your first TP could have been hit. Let's pull your second TP all the way up to this level right here. Now, if you look at it, you realize that it was just a simple trade because price just went all the way up. Very, very simple. So you can see your second TP could have been hit as well with this nice trend, right? Now, price actually moved a little bit higher after this, right? We came a little bit down, then we pushed all the way back up high, right? So that was just it. You could have been inside this trade, this very, very nice trade. You could have been inside this trade. So as you can see, price actually pushed a little bit higher. So if you had a third TP, probably it could have gotten hit, right? Or you could have gotten something serious out of it. So Thursday was the simplest trade. If you go to most of the pairs, it was just like this, right? It was only USD CAD that was in a what, a sell, and actually BTC actually was also in a buy, but you would have bought around somewhere here or something like, because it dropped down, pull liquidity, and went all the way up, right? I actually trade almost all the pairs because I have them in this sort of, I don't know how to explain it, but on my other screen they are kind of like this. So they are kind of like this, like that, like that, and like this. So within this you see what's USD card, within this gold, silver, then that. So I actually watch almost all the pairs at the moment. So in any place I see a very nice trade, then I'll take. But I was only in two trades, right? I wouldn't have gotten into all those trades. So that was just it on Thursday. Let's move to Friday and see what happened. So on Friday we were in a what's an uptrend, right? So we were in an uptrend. So we were looking forward to being in a very nice downtrend after this, right? Now I don't actually know why Mondays and Fridays are very, very bad at what the 714 method. If you notice that, if you've been trading it, you notice that on Fridays and Mondays the 714 method is very hard to trade, right? Because it takes a very long time for it to give you a very nice trade, or it will give you a reversal trade. It will not go according to the method at all, right? So Friday was actually one of the toughest days. If you were going to use the 714 method, it was one of the toughest days, right? Because at this moment we had a fair value gap right here, and I've told you guys, until that fair value gap is what's taken, do not venture into entering into a trade, right? Now this fair value gap got respected several times before it got taken. Then I was like, okay, then these are my levels right now. After this fair value gap is taken, these are my levels at the moment. So if this right here is taken, or this level up here is also taken, then I'm entering into a buy or I'm entering into a sell, right? But price did not actually do that. It came all the way down, and I thought it was going to break through this level right here. Then it pushed all the way up, taking us into a reversal mode, going into a buy mode again. So it was very hard. If you can see, I'm just trying to slow this down so that you see it very well. It went all the way up to this level right here. Then I was like, okay, no matter what is happening, I'm still waiting for price to do what? I'm still waiting for price to either cross this or cross this. So I wouldn't enter into a trade during this level right here. Inside this level, I'm not entering into any trade because it can be a bad trade, right? So I was just waiting until price push all the way down from here again. I was like, what is happening? Price don't want us to enter into a trade on this day or what? But within some couple of minutes, you can see the price actually put all the way up to this level right here. Then we crossed it. So when we crossed it, I realized that that level right there should have been my entry. So we had this simple pullback, a very small pullback. So I got into the trade at this level right here. So let me just put this. So I actually bought, I did not sell, so I bought around this level right here because we broke through that structure right there. So I bought around this level. This candle went up, breaking this structure right here. So I got into the trade at that level right there. So this right here was my setup on what Friday. A very simple setup. So my stop loss was actually here below this candle right here. And my TP, I did not actually entered a TP because I was willing for us to go down, but the trend was still going up, and I don't have the patience to wait for trends to go up, manifest, then it will now drop, right? Why don't you just follow it and go up? If anything is happening there, you are watching the trade, you can get out of the trade at any moment, right? So we had a pullback and it took my trade at this level right here. So as you can see, this pullback took my trade. Price did not actually go far. Price did not actually go far before actually reversing all the way down, right? So as you can see, price did not actually go far before reversing all the way down. But this trade was already good. I was already good because I entered a lot here. So I was already good. I got out around somewhere here when this change of character rather happened. So I got out of the trade. But it did not go that far. So if you are going to enter into a trade, using the 714 method, right? So you could have gotten into the trade around this level right here. You could have gotten into the trade around this level right here. So on Mondays and Fridays, it just becomes worse. I don't know. So you could have gotten into the trade with this what change of character right here. So this should have been your setup if you were not going to use the reverse 714 method, or if you were someone who had the patience to wait. So this right here should have been your entry. So price could have just moved. Now I actually got into the trade again at somewhere here, right? There was this fair value gap. Yeah, that was around somewhere here or something like. Price pulled into the fair value gap. Then I got into another trade. Even though I was already in this nice trade, it was a very simple yet very good trade. So price pulled into this fair value gap. I got into the trade, put my stop loss around here. But you could have already been in this nice trade. As you can see, the whole day that trade is still running. Actually, I haven't gotten out of the trade. It's still running. It's still a very nice trade, right? But I can see we had some small rejections. So far we are in a good. So far it's still a nice trade. We are still going down actually. So I don't actually know when. On Monday probably will go a little bit much down, right? Because on my bigger time frame executions, on my bigger time frame readings, I actually think we are going all the way down, right? So on Monday we'll probably go down a little bit more. So you still could have been in this trade all the way down here. I actually got in again around this level right here, right? So it's a very nice trade. Now that was what happened on Friday. So let's hope for the best by next week. Probably we have a good trade, right? I mean, we are in a very nice downtrend. And remember, whenever you do not get a nice trade on what gold, go to silver. When you don't get a nice trade on silver, because on silver actually last week would have been very simple for you. All the trades on silver was very good, right? So all the 714 method on silver was very good, very solid, right? So you could have gotten nice trades there, or you could have gotten nice trades on what GBP USD, right? So that's just it. If this place is not working, go to a different place. You get it a very nice trade. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys for watching.